Hello everyone! Today I wanted to talk about the books that I read in the month of October and November. So without further ado, let's get into the books. So the first book I read in October was A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky. So this book is the second book in the Wayfarer series. The first book is The Long Way to a Small and Angry Planet, and it was one of my favorite books of last year, and this one is definitely one of my favorites of this year also. So I won't talk too much about this book as it's the second book, though technically they're more companion books than sequels. So I will talk a little bit about this one. So we follow Lovelace, who is an AI that gets a body at the beginning of this book, and we follow also in another POV Pepper, who is helping Lovelace getting adjusted to our life, the human life, and we follow her growing up. So it was really interesting because although Lovelace is supposed to be a character that is very different from you, as she's an AI and not a human, you actually feel for her so much as she tries to get used to being human. And I think everyone can empathize with her, and I just really like her character and everything in this book. It was so heartwarming, and yeah, I just really loved it a lot, so it was this one. The second book I read in October was P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. This is the second book into All the Boys I've Loved You Before trilogy. I read the first one the month before in September, and I really loved it, and I didn't really enjoy this one as much. I thought the characters, I did like to see the characters again, but I feel like they acted a bit stupid, and I totally understand people who said that they wish this had been a standalone, but still it was pretty fun. I think I might pick up the third one, but I'm not sure as of yet. But anyway, it was this one. The third book and last book I read in October was The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, illustrated edition. So it wasn't great. I think Dan Brown has improved a lot over the years in his writing, and this one was not one of the best. But I did really enjoy seeing all the illustrations because you could see all the art as all Dan Brown books are mysteries that revolve around art and enigmas, and you get to go through a lot of cities, European cities, and it was really nice to see all the artwork and the places in pictures, but it was still not that great writing wise. But as I said, he's really improved. I really liked his two last books, Inferno and Origin, and I've been thinking of rereading them. But yeah, this one was fun, but not great. So then to the books I read in November. The first book I read in November was Rebecca by Daphne de Maurier. I wasn't sure about this one for a long time. I heard so much about it. Everyone loves it, and I've always been wary about the books that everyone loves. I often end up not really enjoying them. I don't think they're ever bad, or sometimes, but not very often. But I still don't really love them. But this one was just really great. Though we follow a young woman who meets this man who is a widower, and she gets married to him, and she moves into this house in Manderley. And the thing is, when she gets there, everything looks like his ex-wife just left. So ex-wife, I mean his departed wife, and so there's so many things reminding her of this person, and she just doesn't feel very well there, and there's so many things to try to find out, and I just thought it was really great, and I loved the characters, and the writing was amazing, and everything was just so good. And it reminded me how much I love mysteries that are well done. So this was really good, and I think I might pick up other books by Daphne du Maurier. The second book I read in November was Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and this was one of these books, as I was just saying, that everyone talks about and says how great it is, but I just felt like it wasn't that amazing. I mean, it wasn't bad in any way, but it just had something missing for me from what everyone was saying. So we follow two characters, Victor and Eli, who used to be friends and now are enemies, and they basically want to kill each other, and you see other characters and they try to pick their sides, and we follow Eli and Victor in this time and also when they used to be in college, so you have two timelines. And I really liked the timeline when they were young and friends and just discovering things, but now I just think they're both assholes. No, not assholes, okay? They're both idiots, and I just didn't really love them. I did like the side characters a lot though, but them just not that much, and we followed them so much that I thought it wasn't great. But it wasn't bad either, and the writing was good. Always, I like V. Schwab's writing, but just the plot is always missing something for me. That's just it. But pretty good either way. The next book I read in November was Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I've been wanting to read more classics, and I think I wanted to continue with this one. I originally wanted to read it in October, but I didn't have the time. And I thought I already knew what the story was about, but I was still pretty surprised by what I found out was actually true. I thought it was really good. And yeah, I really liked it. So you follow this man that is very flawed yet very human, and Frankenstein, his creature, who is also not exactly human but is still trying to live. And I thought there were so many reflections that were very interesting in such a little book, and that was just really cool. So nice. The last book I read in November, and probably the best one, was Normal People by Rooney. I just really love this book. So we follow Connell and Marianne when they're in high school and then through their life. So we follow them jumping a few months at a time and sometimes a few years between chapters, and it's just really interesting. I really love both of the characters. They're both very flawed. They were very interesting, and their families were interesting, and everything was so interesting between their relationship and everything, how they try to grow and just to live well. And it was just a really, really, really good book. And I just really like to read about so many feelings. That kind of book is just one of my favorite kind, and I've actually started to read her first book, and I'm really enjoying it. It feels a lot like this one. And yeah, there are so many things I loved about this book. I so wanted the two characters to end up together all throughout. There were moments when I cried and moments when I was smiling, and others I kind of cried myself through this book, but at the same time I loved it. It was so heart-wrenching and just amazing. The writing was so good, and I've never read a book like this one before. and yeah, I would just highly recommend it. It was great. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'll try to hold up these books. So here they are. Thank you for watching, and if you have read any of these books, please tell me and we can talk about them in the comments. And if you haven't, please tell me some books you read in the months of October and November, as I would love to know. And see you soon in another video, I hope. Goodbye!